Hey everyone, Martin Willis here. I'm doing this little public service announcement. There's a wonderful new podcast and show on YouTube that I would love all my listeners who are interested in the UAP UFO topic to check out. Two past guests who I think are absolutely brilliant in moving the needle forward are Ross Coulthart and Bryce Zabel. And they have a Need to Know podcast and show in YouTube. And check it out. The links are below in the text. I'm going to play this clip now that they gave me permission to use.
My name is Ross Coulthart, and my colleague in crime and good buddy is Bryce Zabel in Los Angeles. How are you, Bryce?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here. And by the way, for those of you who are keeping count, this is our fifth Need to Know podcast. And Russ, people said it wouldn't last, but we made it a month.
Now, Bryce, I've got a guilty pleasure to confess. In the middle of the night, I'm known to go to my computer and look at quite profound images on my computer. And it's not what you think. I am obsessed, absolutely obsessed with the James Webb telescope.
Oh, thank God.
Now,
thank God you said that. I was, okay. All right. Okay.
Right now, about 863,000 miles away, there is this absolute miracle of human engineering. It's a marvel, scientific enterprise par excellence. It's chugging its way to an orbit that'll be a million miles away on the other side of the moon, away from the glare of the sun and the reflection of the earth. And it's going to do amazing things. And I guess at these somewhat dark times when we're looking at Putin amassing troops on the border with the Ukraine, President Xi getting increasingly bellicose over Taiwan, I think it's good to remind ourselves that there are some pretty amazing things in the world. And the James Webb telescope is just such a miracle of modern engineering. And fingers crossed, touch wood. I hope it gets there. And I hope soon we're seeing images that may very well record interesting things, perhaps even evidence of other intelligent non-human life.
And possibly in a future podcast, we'll get into the ancient aliens aspect of all this. But for our purposes, I would say 1945 and the Foo Fighters and the fact that American pilots saw these things and thought that they were German, but after the war, we realized the Germans thought they were ours and nobody had any idea whose they were. That makes it a pretty profound thing that was happening even in the final days of World War II. And of course, Foo Fighters also gave us the name of the band. So that was a good added bonus. So all good.
Now, I want you to bear in mind, listeners, the key observations that were made by pilots that saw these things, the aircrew that saw these things back during the Second World War. They were wingless, they were tailless, they had no visible exhaust, no visible propulsion system. And then roll forward a year. I've been doing some research, Bryce, into what were called ghost rockets, which were these thousands of objects sighted all over Scandinavia in 1946, a year after the war ended. And all over Scandinavia, there was almost a public panic that occurred in the summer of 1946 across Scandinavia, Sweden, Finland, Norway. People were seeing these weird objects that were in the sky, no wings, no tail, same thing again. And they sometimes described them as having a fiery tail, but they were all consistently described doing incredible maneuvers, tight turns, extreme speeds, turning on a dime. And they were never, ever properly explained, were they?
They never were. And in fact, the United States sent some of our top generals over there, including Doolittle, to look into it. And while the Swedish government did look very heavily into this, and there were thousands of these sightings, as you mentioned, there were even reports of landings and all kinds of maneuvers. The Swedish government at the end of that at least released the announcement of their investigation. Many of our memos that were written got classified, some of them for many, many years.
In other news, mystery solved. Those eerie lights, just a lost weather balloon. An Air Force spokesman confirms tonight that this was no flying saucer. Sports is next.
Just 12 million Air Force says new data. Lights in the sky. Close encounter. Just close encounter. Close encounter. UFO.
So again, check out the show Need to Know with Coulthart and Zabel, and all the links are right down there in the show text. Thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.